Gamer Online, and I'm here talking to Joe today.
Hello.
So Joe is part of Frostgrave Games, and he's actually the creator of Frostgrave. So I've actually just been talking to Joe and the team here about how great it is, and they've convinced me to go ahead and buy it. So we thought, since I bought it, we're going to be doing some videos on it. It'd be absolutely fantastic to get an interview with Joe and find out a bit more about what it is, so you guys can hear all about it. So Joe, could you maybe just walk us through the game, the concept, how you actually came up with it?
Well, I came up with it kind of as a conversation with Phil, the games editor at Osprey, and basically I was complaining about there's no war game for me. No war game does what I want, and he was like, "Shut up! Just if you don't like it, go write one." And so I did, and it became Frostgrave, and it's snowballed out of control on me. So the basic premise of the game is there's this magical city that something went wrong. A big ice storm covered it for 1,000 years. 1,000 years later, it's thawing out, and all the wizards are running there because that's where all the cool magical stuff is. And so every player plays a wizard.
Yep.
There's 10 different schools of wizardry, and you pick one of those. 80 spells, you pick a bunch of those, and you go and you cause mayhem and chaos. But one thing it isn't is, the point of the game is not to kill your opponent.
Okay.
That does tend to happen, but the point of the game is to grab the treasure. So if you can grab the treasure without killing your opponent, and some wizards are better at that, so the illusionist will try to misdirect and confuse, and some wizards will pick up the treasure and float it off, or do things like that. But the whole thing has a bit more of a role-playing kind of vibe to it, because it's very much about, you play the game, but then you see how your wizard grows, and he can learn new spells, and he can hire new people, and you get to kind of chart the story and the progress of your wizard, and that's one of the main things I wanted. I wanted a narrative and a story to kind of go along with it.
So from talking to you, it sounds almost like it has this kind of Dungeons and Dragons feel, in that you sort of get to the end of the game, you get experience, and then you make some choices of how you're going to build your character, and it sort of builds on from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think of myself as kind of a retired role player. I did it a lot in college, and I think that was one of my things. Is I want some of that, but I don't have the time to gather a group and play for 6 hours in an evening. I need something quicker, but it still has that. Yeah, you level up, and you get new spells, and you get magical stuff. It's killing monsters and taking their stuff. But
even with that, then you've got this sort of extra dimension of it. Almost plays in some ways like other games, like Zombicide, for example, and that you've also got these sort of other sort of models on the map and sort of attacking you as well.
You do have wandering monsters that just kind of come in and attack anybody who can be there, because I think that's one of the keys of good role playing, isn't it? That you never quite know. So it is a very wild and chaotic game. It's certainly not for the kind of hardcore tournament war gamer. It's not your game. It's if you're not laughing while you're playing it, you're probably not playing it quite right. So
brilliant, can't wait. So who is it aimed at? Who do you think is a good audience who could just pick this up and crack on?
I think anybody can. I think it certainly appeals to people like me who came from role playing. It certainly appeals to people who got into wargaming at a time when it was a much more open hobby, and by that I mean, because there weren't so many companies producing games or miniatures, you had to do more of the work yourself.
Yeah.
And while you don't have to do that work yourself, I want to give you that option of, here is a setting, but make of it what you want. Define it how you want, and define your figures how you want.
Yeah, because you do models alongside this game, don't you?
We do. So we call it a model agnostic game. You can use whatever you want, but we also do official ones if you want to use those. But even then, so every warband's got its soldiers, but those soldiers can be barbarians or evil cultists or fishmen. It doesn't matter. They can be what you want them to be.
Awesome.
And that's what I want. I want to see people being creative and having fun with it. So.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, I can't wait to play it, Joe.
Good.
I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you. Even got myself a signed copy. So yeah, fantastic. Well, we'll obviously do a few videos of us playing the game and let you all know how it goes. Thanks ever so much, Joe.
Yep.